Okay.
Good afternoon. It's February the 9th, 2006. I'm Mayor Livingston, and this afternoon Tom Bush and I, on behalf of the Southwest Georgia Regional Library, are recording the adventures of Austin Sarge Connell with the United States Marine Corps in 3 wars. Sarge, tell us when you joined the Marine Corps.
I joined the Marine Corps in July 1941.
Did you have any idea why you wanted to join the Marine? The war wasn't going then.
Yeah, I had the real good idea. I was raised on a little farm down in South Florida, Central Florida, and I got to thinking now, it gets awful hot down there in July, and there's got to be an easier way to make a living than that. So I joined the Marine Corps. They not only gave me a place to sleep, something to eat, but they bought me a pair of shoes and paid me $21 a month. That was more than my daddy was doing.
And that was in July, and the war started in December. Where were you when the war started?
Paris Island, South Carolina.
You were in boot camp?
No, I had completed boot camp. And, I was on Liberty in Walterboro, South Carolina when the word came out. Everybody would want to know where Pearl Harbor was. Very few knew where Pearl Harbor. If it says Hawaii, half would probably know where Hawaii was, but the Pearl Harbor, nobody had heard of Pearl Harbor. Very few.
Well, was any of the Marines that you did? Was anybody there that you knew at the time?
At the Pearl Harbor?
Yeah.
Not that I knew. No.
And you were trained as a rifleman?
I was trained as a rifleman. I was artillery, light artillery, and automatic weapons. But in those days and to the present, every Marine is trained as a infantryman. He's a recruit first. He's trained as an infantry second at the Camp of June, North Carolina, and then they assigned him as a MOS, as military occupation.
And you had the old Springfield?
I had the old Springfield rifle and the old World War I helmet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But that changed shortly after the war got started, Pearl Harbor.
And you went overseas in 1942?
April 1942, we sailed from San Diego.
And you went to American Samoa?
American Samoa.
And you were in a barrage balloon?
Barrage balloon outfit, yeah, it didn't last too long. It was just a couple of 3 months. And they figured, well, we don't necessarily need this outfit. We abandoned it.
Well, what did y'all do from there? What did you do with your balloons?
Good question. I left and they shipped us out over to British Samoa.
You didn't know where you were going from there?
No, we didn't know.
And you were always in the which division were you attached to?
Well, I've been with the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Division.
Well, now, Guadalcanal came in there pretty soon, didn't it?
Guadalcanal came in while I was on British Samoa.
But you wasn't in the landing?
Not in the landing. I have been on the canal, but not during the landing.
And you went back from there, you went back to Hawaii?
No, from there we went to, man, you're pinning me down now. That's been 60 years ago.
I thought you told me the other day.
We went from there to little island, Nanumea in the Ellis Islands, just below Tarawa. And we set up a defense of that island, and so the Seabees could come in and put up a landing strip so they'd have air support for Tarawa.
Were you on the invasion of Tarawa?
No, we stayed there on that little island.
The whole time?
Yeah, not the invasion of the Tarawa. but we were defending the units that was putting in the landing strips
On
on Tarawa. And they were the Japanese that was on Tarawa were trying to get rid of us there. We had some of the heaviest air raids of the war was there on us during that period of time.
From Hawaii,
We went from Tarawa, or from Nanumea back to Hawaii, and got some replacements, new equipment, and from there went to Palau, Peleliu.
Were you on the, where were you? And that was pretty rough.
Yeah. There was a little island that was about a half mile, maybe from across the Gulf there, from the main island. And that's where we were set up on that little island. It was an anti-aircraft outfit with had 90 millimeters, 40 millimeters, and 50 caliber machine guns. And I was a machine gunner. That's always been my specialist, was the light machine guns.
When there was that aircraft defense, or you?
Both.
Oh.
It was both. There was Japanese on it to start with, so it was a matter of taking that and the also defense of the main island.
Now, from there, you remember?
Yeah, from there I came back to the States. I had been 34 months then over there. And I came back to the States then and went to Charleston, South Carolina.
And you were security guard at Charleston at the Naval.
Right, brig.
There you go.
What year was this at Charleston?
45, 1945 there.
Well, you had 2 years, 2 tours.
2 tours. From there, I went from the Charleston. I went to Paris Island as a drill instructor. And in those days, you could re-enlist for a choice of duty stations. I re-enlisted for a tour back in Charleston.
That's why your second tour
Yeah.
came in. Well, did you enjoy being a drill instructor, or was that?
Wasn't the easiest duty in the world. No,
Yeah.
you were walking on eggshells. It had been a lot easier in the past, but you had to be real careful what you said and done.
There you go. Now, when you left there, your MOS changed. You changed to infantry.
Yeah, I changed the infantry and from there I went to the war broke out and I went to Camp Lejeune, and from Camp Lejeune was there a couple of weeks. Went to Camp Pendleton, and I was with the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marines at Camp Pendleton, infantry.
The war broke out in Korea in 1950. Where were you then?
1950, I was either at Camp Lejeune or Camp Pendleton. Probably at Camp Pendleton.
Well, were you were you in the Chosen Reservoir?
No, my unit was in the Chosen Reservoir, but before they left going over there, I'd been put in the hospital. I had muscle hernia of the legs, and both my legs, and I running those hills day and night, and the muscles popped out on my legs there, both my legs, and I was admitted to the hospital there, and the unit went on in to the Chosen Reservoir.
Well, now, okay, then, the next big one was the Incheon Landing in Korea.
I went in and was on the Incheon. When I went to Korea, I went to Incheon, but not during the landing. I was,
Yeah, the landing came a long time before the chosen.
yeah.
The landing
Yeah.
came before chosen, then they
You're right.
started
you're
heading
right.
towards China.
But you didn't get in any active fighting. You didn't went to Korea, but you didn't get in any active fighting in the reservoir.
No, no.
That you went in the hospital.
Not in Korea.
The
The only tour of hospital I had was at the Camp Pendleton.
and then you got them. But you had to. You were a sergeant major. Well, you wasn't. You were not a sergeant major at that time.
I was not a sergeant major then.
But where all did you serve in Korea? How long were you? Well, the war was over in what, 53? Yeah.
53, and I went in, I think about, oh man, you're pinning me down now.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
I have to ask her what I had for breakfast about half the time. But I came back, I left there about 52, I think, somewhere along in 1952. And at that time was down in Busan with the, there again with the anti-aircraft artillery outfit. I had the light machine guns and 30 calibers and the 50 caliber machine gun section.
Well, did any North Korean planes come over, Chinese?
No, not after I got there.
That was, and then you came back to the States.
I came back to the States and went to, I think from there I went to 29 Palms, California, out in the desert.
Well, that's with artillery out there, wasn't it?
Anti-aircraft artillery.
Yeah.
But there again, I was with the 40 millimeters on a tank chassis, mounted on a tank chassis, and is what I was with.
Isn't that what y'all did?
M42 Dusters.
Yeah.
I was on them too. I was a lieutenant in charge of a platoon of Dusters at Fort Bliss, Texas.
Yeah. They had a lot of training there at Fort Bliss. I didn't, but a lot of the officers did, went to Fort Bliss.
I was there for a year before I went to Nam.
But that was a sweet weapon. That
It was
40 millimeter.
If he had two good loaders, you could pump them out, couldn't you?
You could pump them out, and we had in addition to the 40 millimeters, we had that quad,
Quad
50.
I had quad 50 battery too.
Yeah,
And
that was mine, was the quad 50s there. It was with the 40s, but also the main job was with the quad 50s.
First time I fired one, I shot down a fire bee, a little drone going across. That was excellent weapon, 450 calibers firing at once.
Well, was it primarily an anti-aircraft?
It was until we got to Vietnam, and Vietnam is anti-personnel.
Yeah, it was both actually, is what it amounted to. The Marine Corps was a lot like by the weapons like they were the troops. You had to have a dual purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And
They were convoy support in Vietnam, the quad 50s.
Well, in Vietnam and Korea, I think. Well, it wasn't in Korea. You had some selective service people, but outside of that, they were all volunteers, wasn't they?
I would say that the majority of them
They
were.
were volunteers.
Yeah.
Could you tell the difference?
Not really,
Unless
they told you they were
I look at the dog tag that had the SS on it. But after Korea, you came on back home.
After Korea, I came back and, I think that's when I went to 29 Palms.
Yeah. And you stayed there, and then you went to Nam.
Uh,
Well, you didn't go to Nam till later.
I went to Nam and,
You were a sergeant major when you went there.
well, I was sergeant major when I went there. And the day that I reported in, they lost the sergeant major, and I went down to a medical battalion, a field medical battalion. As a sergeant major in the field medical battalion.
And that was in Da Nang?
Yes.
Did you volunteer for Vietnam?
Yeah.
There you go.
I had my letter in for retirement, and I had about 27 years, 27 and a half years in, and my letter had been approved, and it started bothering me evidently that I was getting out before I had had a tour in Nam. And one day, that little thing sitting over there, she says, why don't you go ahead and go on in there. I had gone through World War II, the Vietnam War, and am I getting out because I'm afraid to go to Vietnam? Maybe I'm getting a little yellow streak down my back here. And when she says, why don't you go ahead and go on in there? I said, you mean that? She says, well, you're not going to be happy until you do. So I went in the next day, I called this buddy in Washington, I said, pull out those retirement orders. He said, you know where you're going, don't you? I said, send them on down to me. He said, okay. He said, I'll have your orders to you in up to 3 days. Sent me my orders, I went in there. Several times I wish I'd kept my mouth shut. But after it was over with, I had completed my 30 years, I had done my duty over there, I was satisfied, content.
30 years.
Yeah.
There you go. You didn't have a gap in there somewhere where you came out for a couple of years?
No, after World War II, I came out, I lasted about 30 days, and I said, to heck with this, I'm going home. So I went back in. I had I think there was a 30-day grace period. You could, you could go back in, retain your rank and your status there. So I went back in, stayed with it.
Well, you couldn't have done any better than being a sergeant major. That's the top.
Mm-hmm.
But the Marine Corps, you always felt like it was your home. That's why you stayed.
Well, it was home, and the people was my family. After during the World War II, 34 months over there, your family was something you had a dream about. And back last night, you dreamed about some bunch of people back in the States that you knew. Your family was the one that you was with there. Your home was the Corps, and you know that's about the way it went there.
Well, have you kept up with a lot of your old buddies?
Well, a lot of them is gone. There's a few that I do. We come back to, I retired from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and there was a lot of them there at the little town of Jacksonville, North Carolina. There was quite a few of them there. You could go downtown and you knew half the people you'd served with them there that was in the town there. A lot of them retired and just spent their rest of their time in Camp Lejeune there in Jacksonville.
Are they still there? A lot of them are gone.
A lot of them are gone. Most of them are gone now. Excuse me.
That's why we wanted to get you fellas now. We're losing you all.
Yeah. Well, I tell them now, when I start telling my sea stories, I don't know if it was something that happened in World War II, Korea, or Vietnam. You just have to take it as You think it might be.
Tell them, we'll sort it out.
But, no, there's quite a few of them gone there now. And, you know, not being any, closely related to any, bases where they are, I don't get to see them there. Once in a while, you'll run across one of them.
You saw some of them at the Sergeant Major's picnic too.
Yeah, still have a Sergeant Major's picnic in Washington, at the Commandant's quarters there every year. And, I haven't attended that in the last couple of years, but we used to go to that, pretty regular, and we run into, quite a few of them there.
Well, did you ever have a tour of duty in Washington at the Marine Barracks?
No, never.
Well, you know, right now, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff is a Marine, the first Marine.
First one we've ever had, yeah. 4-star. In fact, until the war started, World War II, we didn't have a 4-star general. It was, highest was 3-star.
Well, when I was in Washington, I took my grandson out to the Iwo Jima Memorial, and we got there for the ceremony, you know, the Marines, silent drill team and all that. And it was very impressive.
It was, it did.
You've seen it, I know.
Yeah, and it makes you stop and think, you know, and you go through that, and the Vietnam Memorial there, the wall.
You've seen that, yeah. Oh, yeah. And one of them, Korea. Have you seen that one? So they've got them.
Newer.
It's newer than Vietnam.
No, I haven't seen that.
It has a bunch of figures of soldiers marching, and it's just excellent.
Well, Sarge, you have served well, and we want to thank you for your service and what you've done. Is there anything else you'd like to say? A sea story?
Well, as I said when I first came in
It doesn't matter what.
I got more tape.
I'm not, by no means did I classify myself then or now as a hero.
Yeah, but we do.
To me, I was just doing a job just like everybody else, and it was, I didn't intend or didn't pretend to be. I had you're talking about the sea story though, when I was stationed down at Tallahassee there, the I&I staff with Tallahassee.
I know about that.
They had a young girl over there for a college student, and at the time they were doing a little disturbance in the campus there, people uprising and what have you, and demonstrating. And this young girl asked me, what did I think about the demonstrations that was going on there? And I told her, I said, let me tell you something. I said, I went through 3 wars in order that you might be able to have the privilege of demonstrating if you wanted to. I said, you be my guest.
Good.
And she shut up and walked away.
Sarge was in the delegation that came down when my brother-in-law was killed. He was in the
Connell
delegation.
and I went down to make the initial notification.
And that was a tough job.
Yeah. We had the casualty assistant notification for strictly Marines, but we covered all around Albany, all the way around, notifying the next of kin, the killed and wounded.
I did that in West Texas and eastern New Mexico, not easy.
Thank you again, and on behalf of the American people, thank you for what you did.
Okay.
Simplify.
Simplify.